3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash, and joining me today, as always, is Stan the Man, and our trusty sidekick slash intern slash all-around nice guy who's not trash, Forky. I got a big drink, and it's time for DC previews. Let's get into it. As usual, I have not previewed this myself, so I don't know what to expect. This is all going to be ad-lib, ad hoc, on the fly, as you will. You can get my reactions live along with yours. We're going to see what's coming up. So this is issue 16 for August 2019, Soliciting comics that are going to be on sale in October. And on the cover, it's Birds of Prey. The birds are back in town. But what's Harley doing here? That's a really good question. An even bigger question is, why is Oracle not here? You replaced Oracle with Harley Quinn. Pass. All right. Joe Hill presents Hill House Comics. Okay. So, big celebrity here. You're the son of Stephen King. You get your own micro imprint off of a sub-imprint of DC Comics. Okay. Okay. Remember when DC said, we're cutting off all of our imprints, it's confusing, blah, blah, blah. Now they're putting imprints without imprints. DC, Black Label, Hill House. Oh, and here's the comics we're going to get here. Basket Full of Heads, The Dollhouse Family, The Low Woods, Daphne Byrne, and Plunge. That's a lot of comics. 5? You're launching with 5? You had to cancel the greatest imprint of a major publishing house ever in Vertigo, which was the true horror section for DC. This is something, oh my God. Basket Full of Heads, No One Cares. DC Year of the Villain, Doom Rising. Oh, the Year of the Villain erupts with Evil Unleashed. This is a controversial series. I've been a big proponent of this. I like what DC's doing in the fact that they're making a big, huge event, but they're not doing it in a way that like is predatory towards the readers in the stores. And I think that's a cool thing. I know other people are like, oh, we already had this with Month of the Villain back in New 52, and I hated it. No. It's like, okay. I guess if it has the same name or a similar name, it's got to be exactly the same, right? Like, they're not making you buy all these extra books like Month of the Villain, which seemed to be the big problem. So, I'm cool. Let's see. Birds of Prey #1, No One Cares. Joker, Year of the Villain #1, written by John Carpenter and Anthony Birch. I like both of those guys. It's a weird pairing. Anthony Birch is more of a comedic undertone. Well, I guess it's Joker, and John Carpenter's a horror overtone. Maybe that'll be entertaining. I think Joker is extremely overdone right now. It's just overload. DC's barfing out Joker everywhere. The fact that it's a one-shot makes me kind of go, oh, but Ash, we like one-shots. Okay, well, yeah, but if it's a really special, meaningful story, I don't think you can do much in 40 pages. We'll see. Black Adam, Year of the Villain #1. Okay. Oh, look, DC's getting on the facsimile edition game because Marvel's selling the shit out of these old books. And, hey, when you can make a book, and instead of having it be $1 like a True Believers book, you can just Xerox it, if you will, and charge the full same price as today's comics. Why not? Now remember, here's the interesting thing. This comic cost 20 cents back in the day. It cost $3.99 because of inflation. Inflation has to do with the drop of the value of the dollar. It's not that things get more expensive, it's that the dollar becomes weaker. That's how inflation works. Today, comics have never been more expensive because the dollar's never been weaker. So basically $1 would have gone a longer way back in this time. hard to explain, but you get the idea. $3.99. If you were to adjust this comic for inflation, it would not cost $3.99. It would be like, I think someone, I should go find that. Someone did a calculation. It would have been like just over $2. Would be a lot of these old comics. But $3.99 means we're paying way more than we should. But if you can reprint these old comics, you don't have to pay an artist, you don't have to pay a colorist, you don't got to pay an editor, you don't got to pay anything. It's there in your archives, and you just scan it, head into the printer, and charge exorbitant price equals ripoff. Okay. Joker, Harley, Criminal Sanity. Do we need Cami Garcia? So some no-name girl who wrote one of the DC young adult graphic novels that no one likes is getting her own $5.99 book. 40 pages. I get Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo in one of the best books that's ever been so far in Last Night on Earth. And it's 60 plus pages for the same price. Look, it's Joker, more Joker. And then look, Jeff Lemire is getting his own one. So also going to be $5.99 for 32 pages. This is half the size now of Last Night on Earth. Screw that. The Last God. This seems kind of interesting. Philip Kennedy Johnson, I'm not familiar with any of these creators. It's only $4.99. Look at that. 32 pages. Look at 22 story pages. Look at how they differ. I've never seen that before. Oh my God. This cover makes me want to punch my screen. Look at this. First of all, look at that punchable Superboy face right there. And look, he's getting his own Legion ring. And look at all the weirdos behind him just because apparently the style of modern millennials and their dippy-doo shave side heads, color our hair pink, and it's gonna just carry on. This is the future. We're never gonna go away from this. We'll go to the year 3001. And that's how millennials will still look. Everyone will still look like everyone. Oh, God. And here, we up-aged Jonathan Kent for this stupid-ass Brian Michael Bendis bullshit book. Oh, Metal Men #1, written by Dan Needs to Be Fired Didio. Metal Men. We canceled New Age of Heroes for this shit. Okay. RWBY #1. It's written by Marguerite Bennett. Gag me with a Forky. Forky. Yep, Forky says that's trash. Look at that, terrible. You canceled New Age of Heroes for that shit. Oh, look, they're putting Hellblazer back into the Sandman universe, which has been taken out of the Vertigo imprint. Just anything to try to save the dying, these terrible decisions that these upper management idiots make. Instead of owning up and realizing that they're the problem, which I know it's hard to do, but they constantly are covering their mistakes. It's like a cat taking a shit in a litter box, and then it's like it buries it with the litter to cover it. Like, I didn't actually shit here. Secrets of Sinister House #1. This would have been maybe cool as a Vertigo imprint, but whatever. Superman smashes the Klan. Look at this cover. Look at that. That's just SJW goodness right there. If you want to battle the white patriarchy, if you love politics in your comics over story, if you just want propaganda preached to you 24/7, if you dream about the world of 1984 where you can wake up and speak to Big Brother on the your big monitor screens that monitor you 24/7. You can report on your neighbors, and the world, all the history, everything can be written for you, and you can just believe in this fantasy that doesn't exist because the Ministry of Information only tells you what you need to know, and whatever. Just there it is right here. This is Superman fighting the Ku Klux Klan. As if anything was any more irrelevant in today's society, it's the Ku Klux Klan. There's like probably a couple thousand of them distributed amongst the United States of a bunch of backwater idiots. Superman has got to fight. And look at this. It's like the Action Comic strip. Oh, it's just $7.99. $8 an issue. First of all, SJWs don't buy comics. This is gonna sell like shit. Anyways, I've spent way too much time on that. What's this? Tales from the Dark Multiverse #1. So we're milking this. It's written by Scott Snyder and Kyle Higgins. What this means is it's written by Kyle Higgins. Scott Snyder did a quick little outline. Whenever you see this, by the way, when you see a big name and a little name, the big name didn't do the writing, right? Otherwise, you just have Scott Snyder. Like, whenever you see this, 9 times out of 10, there's always the exception to the rule, but when you see that, you're like, oh, I like Scott Snyder, I'm going to get this. No. Kyle Higgins wrote this. Okay, Scott Snyder was maybe involved in the plotting, maybe he was in the pitch room with Kyle Higgins. He just did barely enough to get a writing credit. And they're putting his name on the book because his name sells and no one cares about Kyle Higgins. So I'm mildly interested in this. Let's see what the price. $5.99. Pass. Oh, look at this. This actually is kind of interesting. Is this Wonder Woman or Lois Lane? I don't like with the whole idea of Lois Lane getting Superman power stuff. I think that's it. Dark Multiverse takes on the next selling comic of all. Dark Multiverse takes on the highest selling comic book event of all time, the death of Superman. Okay, I like that. I was like, the highest selling Superman has never been the highest. Well, maybe back in the 30s it was the highest selling comic, but yeah. So Lois Lane, twisted by rage and grief, becomes the eradicator. Oh, yeah, see, I was right. Oh, look, 100-page giants are back. These are good. These I support. $4.99, 100-page giant. $5.99 for 48-page one shot that no one cares. I shouldn't say no one cares. Some people care. I mildly care. I wish they were $3.99. I wish I would read it. Deceased, of course, is being milked to death. That it's extending over to the comics that aren't affected by it. So Action Comics, Aquaman. Deceased is its own. It's like Injustice. It's just an Elseworld story, but you get the covers, right? So you get a Deceased cover of Aquaman or Deceased cover of Action Comics. I wish this comic would be Deceased. Oh, for fuck's sake. Naomi is... Oh. Aquaman annual #2. No, annuals suck. Batgirl is still being written terribly by Cecil Castellucci. I did a review of her first book. 37 was our first issue on this. And I was expecting all of the SJW garbage that she wrote in that Female Furies book. Excuse me, I'm trying to not burp on camera. And she didn't really have it, but because she didn't have it, she didn't have anything to write. So her book just came off as, honestly, I took creative writing classes in high school. I went to an English magnet school, and I took 2 different actually, and this was better. Sorry, they were better. I read better high school fiction than this. Batman 80. Yay, it's Batman 80. That's John Romita Jr. art. John Romita Jr. back on Batman? Not drawing like Superman? What's okay. John Romita? Oh. This is going to get some asses back in seats, if you will. I hate this cardstock variant for $1 more. Oh my goodness, Batman annual. I don't like it. I know some people like annual. This book right here, holy shit. Curse of White Knight #1. Go watch my review of this. It's going to spoil the book. It's not really a review. It's my talk on this. I loved this book so much. And look at these covers. I don't really like variant covers, but if we're going to have them, I like what they're doing here. You get the normal cover, which is the typical White Knight style cover. I didn't realize that they were doing this. So the first issue I have, the alternate cover is Azrael, and it says Azrael on it. And I was like, oh, okay. But apparently they're going to do a cover for each character. You're going to get an Alfred cover. Maybe we'll get a back. Oh, that's going to be cool. Batman and the Outsiders 6. This is not as cool as I was hoping. I really like Brian Hill, and I want him to succeed. I know a lot of people love Dexter Soy. He doesn't really capture me, but it's there. It's a comic. It's decent. It's been like a 3-star comic. Hopefully it gets better. Hopefully Brian is building to something, and then he can then go, because like he's trying to establish who these characters are. Maybe it's a slow burn. Right now I have no desire for an annual. I just get the story going. Batman Beyond 37. Dan Jurgens is still... What? Is this Batgirl Beyond? All right. Batman Creature of the Night. Hey! Someone was asking me about this the other day. I think it was Eric Breen. He was like, did that Kurt Busiek Batman, I think it just like died on the shelf. And I was like, I'm sure it came out. Like, no one paid attention. No one knew. I didn't know. He didn't know. I do. I cover every week comics that are out. Like, I just fell under the... I was like, it must have come out. It's long gone. Nope, apparently it didn't. It's coming out in October. The fourth issue. $6.99. Why is this $6.99? Why? It's less pages than Last Night on Earth. Batman, Superman #3. I have high hopes for this series. Josh Williamson is a good writer. And Batman and Superman suck right now, except for Detective Comics. So maybe we'll get something good. Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 is astoundingly good. I'm shocked. I normally don't like mashups like this. I think it comes across silly. Turtles is a little bit more grounded in normal comics than some things. If you try to like do Thundercats, they do weird things like Ghostbusters, Transformers. Some people love it, and that's great. I can't get into it. To me, the mashup comes across silly and forced, and it doesn't make sense. But this, they found a way to do it in a way that is it makes sense, and it's fitting, and it's cool, and you get to see different versions of Batman and Turtles because they were created. It's like these Turtles and this Batman are like reimaginings of those characters as if they were created in this alternate third world that's different than their own, where they exist together, if that makes sense. Like, what would a world of Batman and Turtles be if they were in the same world, in other words? It's cool. And then, I don't want to spoil anything more, but it's only, I'll say only $3.99. I love also the Eastman. I love seeing Kevin Eastman's one of my favorite artists, and I love seeing him draw Batman, so I get those full art covers. Batman versus Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul is probably my favorite Batman villain. Batman, but it's Neil Adams, and Neil Adams has passed his time. Neil Adams, he's kind of like Frank Miller. His art is not like it used to be. His writing is apparently completely wackadoo, and he's writing this. I hope he comes up with something special. I don't want it to suck, but I'm not going to get it. Catwoman is still going. Deathstroke 48. Christopher Priest is just like a trooper, keeping Deathstroke going. The sad thing about Deathstroke, though, is it doesn't seem to matter. It's just like, hey, Christopher Priest is over in this corner just doing Deathstroke comics. It reminds me of Iron Man back in the 80s and 90s. He was just sort of, Iron Man was just there. People today think Iron Man is like this big shot, massive Marvel character. He wasn't. He was just, it's Iron Man. Like, no one cared about Iron Man. And he just kind of just sitting in the corner, just doing his thing, not mattering to the universe at all. And this is a big problem, I think, with publishing today. They need to find a way to make these characters sort of matter to the bigger picture. Not all the time. We don't need giant-sized events, but have Deathstroke come over into someone else's book. That's the way. Having Batman guest star in a Deathstroke issue doesn't really do it. You need to have the character go elsewhere into books that people aren't reading Deathstroke. You need to have Deathstroke come into their books, like Wonder Woman, right? So like Wonder Woman running around in a story, and all of a sudden she has an arc where Deathstroke is around. Then all of a sudden the Wonder Woman fan gets to experience, hey, Deathstroke matters, and something happens, and then maybe or maybe not they'll go, but the fans that aren't reading Deathstroke will feel his presence, if you get what I'm saying. Deceased is still going on, still popular. I do love these movie posters ripoff. These are really freaking cool. And they all are done really well. This is cool. I have to say. Let's see. Deceased. Oh, look at that. Oh man. That's so cool. Detective Comics is still going on with Peter Tomasi. Doug Mahnke appears to be on. The year of the villain for the Detective Comics is Mr. Freeze. So, yeah. Look at your Deceased variant cover. Oh, just get milked. I stopped getting the variant covers because DC is pulling the Marvel Predatory bullshit. An extra $1. Make sure you pay your extra $1 for that thicker paper. Just on the cover. That's going to sit in a bag, in a board, in a box for the rest of your life. It's so pointless. Event Leviathan is the event that never ends. At least it's only $3.99 for 32 pages. Hey, kudos for that. You can give us a 32-page book for $3.99. All right. I have actually reviewed Event Leviathan 1 and 2. Both are solid books. Flash is another one of those books. Flash is another one of those that's just quietly going on. Joshua Williamson is writing a great book, and no one's paying attention. It doesn't matter. You need to make Flash matter to the rest of the DC universe. Let's see. Where do we go here? Flash Forward number 2. Okay, so Flash Forward is a new series written by Scott Lobdell, art by Brett Booth. First of all, no one wanted this series. We didn't want you to destroy Wally West. Heroes in Crisis is one of the worst comic books miniseries I have ever read. And I mean that in all sincerity. It is absolute garbage. Not only just in writing, but in concept. What they did, they just destroyed a great character for no reason. They didn't destroy him in the sense that he's just physically destroyed in the storyline. No, they destroyed him as a character. They wrote into him that he's a murderer and a psychopath, and he betrays his friends. And so the symbol of hope, of rebirth, if you go back and read DC Universe Rebirth number 1, it's a one-shot. The Jeff Johns launched the Rebirth. I heard you. It is it's a 5-star book. It is phenomenal. It will bring tears to your eyes. Wally West is the symbol of hope, and then they turn him into a guy who murders people and blames his friends, and and so now you're giving us a mini series with him. No one wants this. Congratulations, Didio. You fucking assassinated the character. You made it so fans don't want the character anymore. You did it. That's what you wanted. You wanted Wally West gone, and the way to do it was to make fans go, oh, you know what? We don't want him anymore. It was a brilliant move on your part to, instead of just get rid of him and have fans clamor and say, bring back Wally West. Now you made fans go, fuck Wally West. We don't want him. And then now you're giving it to, make up your damn mind. Do you want Wally West or don't you want Wally West? Now I got to buy this stupid 6-issue miniseries. I don't want to buy miniseries anymore. They're a waste of money. Scott Lobdell is fine. He's just okay, fine guy. But Brett Booth, you remember the book Wildcats you just canceled because you had the shitty Ramon Villalobos from Bordertown art on it that is the worst possible choice. I mean, maybe What's Her Nuts from Squirrel Girl might have been a worse choice for Wildcats, but here you've got Brett Booth, who comes from the Image era. He's a Jim Lee, I don't want to say a clone, but he's got that feel, and and you put him on this book that no one wants, and we could have had Wildcats, and we could have had Brett Booth on it. We could have had what we wanted. I don't get it. Speaking of not getting it, Robert Venditti is writing this miniseries over here, 12-issue maxi series, Freedom Fighters. It's knocking everyone's socks off. You're probably not reading it, though. Look at this. Look at this. Uncle Sam versus the Ubermen, or the Overmen. Basically, it's a Nazi version of Superman. Yeah, it's scary. Gotham City Monsters. I like Steve Orlando's fine. He does some cool stuff, but I don't care. I'm not whatever. Too many comic books, and you're selling me on stuff. Green Lantern 12. I think Morrison is out of his mind with this series. I'm probably not going to continue. Look at this. What the? Harleen. Another Joker book, of course, because we're just puking out Joker and Harley books. Stepan Sajic, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. He's a fine artist, and especially when he takes his time. Look at this. This is really well illustrated. However, look at metrosexual Joker. That's just disturbing to me. Joker should not look like this. Harley, yeah. No, gag me. Speaking of Harley, the book that won't die, Harley Quinn, Sam Humphries, who I'm convinced is Mark Russell. They're the same person. You're just completely interchangeable. In fact, that's what happened. Mark Russell was writing this trash, and now Sam Humphries is writing this trash. And it basically is written. Both of these guys write like they're writing for kids who are 40. Because their style of writing is very childish, but it's not childish in a way that kids would groove to it, if you know what I mean. Like kids, when I was a kid, there were things I liked that were kiddish and childish, like, Saturday morning cartoons, all this stuff, but it was written to be cool for those kids. This is written for it to be those kids who never grew up and are just sad sacks living in, the 40-year-old version type. It's written for them, and kids would not be interested, and they'd be like, this is a stupid character. It's like, oh look, another Harley book, Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, because we got a cartoon of Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. Now we've got the comic of them, two mass murdering villains written in a comic book that you can now give to your kids and say, hey, here's role models for you kids. Oh, but Ash, it's not written for kids. It's a comic book and a cartoon. Why are people telling me this isn't for kids? Okay, so this is what you as an adult, this is what you want? This is the degeneracy that you want to worship scantily clad women who are murderers. There's nothing. It's garbage. Not garbage? Hawkman. Hashtag read Hawkman. I know some people are disappointed with the whole you're the villain part, but it's Robert Venditti, and they're putting in his villains in the book. I don't see what there's to complain about. I don't like the deceased crossover stuff, but that's a cool looking cover. That's so cool. Let's see. Inferior 5, number 2. Look at this. Ash, comics, they're not for kids. Look at this. You're an adult. You're a 30-something, 40-something adult, and this is what you want for your comic. He's just silly Billy. It reminds me of the Saturday morning cartoons I watched. But now I'm an adult, and it's for me, not for the kids. But I still want it to look like it's for kids because, I don't know. Justice League 33. Scott Snyder, James Tynion, the dynamic duo. These guys are quietly... If you want a universe that matters and things that matter and have like characters like Flash, like I was saying earlier, and everything, you got to read this book. This is the book where shit is happening and it matters to these characters. Unfortunately, you have to read them in this group setting and not on their own books, but you get that. And Scott is writing some good stuff. James Tynion is a good... I don't say like a team player, but he works well with Scott. He's got a style that meshes really well. He's doing the other Justice League Dark book, which is good, and he writes the alternate issues where it's like the Doom. It looks like they're just co-writing now, which means probably James Tynion's doing a lot of the work, but I like James Tynion, to be honest. He does a fantastic job. And then Abnett is taking over the Justice League Odyssey, and he's doing this really cool. It doesn't really feel like Justice League, but it feels like it's. I know Bat's gonna fucking pull his hair out. I'm saying it feels like Titans. He's like, shut up, Ash. You don't even know what Titans is. It's kind of true, but it feels like what I think Titans is. This is the book I think that should be. It's like an alternate Justice League. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. This works for me. I think it'll work for you. This is Greg Rucka, Lois Lane number 4. Greg Rucka essentially just writing himself into comics so he can preach to the reader about Orange Man Bad. So this is Orange Man Bad number 4. Martian Manhunter. Steve Orlando's quietly writing this really cool origin story to Martian Manhunter that is also a detective story, and it's really good. The art is a deal breaker for a lot of people. I get that, but this is solid. This is solid stuff. It feels inspired. Steve Orlando is he has something to say here. Like, this isn't just like, hey Steve, write this book, go do it. Like, it's like, hey, I have a really good idea. I want to write this story, and that makes a big difference. When you read a book by a writer and you can feel like that book was inspired and it wasn't just a job. This is what's happening with Last Night on Earth. I mean, Scott Snyder is a good writer, but that book feels inspired. Nightwing 65. I had dropped Nightwing. I've been browsing through the last couple issues since I dropped, and the only thing I'm interested in is this Court of Owls thing. I like Dick Grayson's ties to the Court of Owls. The mythology of this all is cool. The art is awful. The writing, sorry Dan, I don't know what's wrong. It's awful. I think Dan is in a quagmire right now. So they threw him into quicksand and were like, write your way out of this shit, Dan. And Dan was like, and this Rick Grayson thing, it's you can't make lemonade out of dog shit. Okay? Dan's like, can I have some lemons, please? I can't make lemonade with this. He's trying. And maybe this will spin around eventually. I really want to see Nightwing and the Court of Owls tied together more. I want to see Nightwing maybe become I want to see this. I talk more about this in Last Night on Earth. Nightwing Annual. I don't like annuals. So annuals need to be special. If they're just cash grabs, $5 cash grabs of some random one-shot story, I know some people like that, and if that's your cup of tea, more power to you. I'm not interested. Red Hood Outlaw 39, still going. Scott Lobdell just carrying on like a trooper. Scooby-Doo, no one cares. Well, I guess some people care. It's look, $2.99, so. Damn battery's dying. Always interrupting everything. All right, so yeah, Scooby-Doo. Shazam number 11. This is probably one of the best books at DC. I don't read it because I probably am. This is one of the least interesting characters I want to read. Maybe the absolute least interesting character to me personally. Captain Marvel, the idea of a little boy turning into this, like, it just does not resonate in any shape or form. I'm not knocking the character. I'm not saying it's stupid. I know people like it, and I encourage you, by all means, please buy this book, Jeff Johns. If there's anything at all that you find interesting or whatever, Jeff Johns is a master. They're gonna have to make a 5th head on the comic book Mount Rushmore for Jeff Johns eventually, because he is that good. He is a modern day. He's a master. There's very few people that are at this level, I think, that deserve that particular, I'm just sitting here tied for words. That level of elevating to that status. There's very few people that I feel need to be talked about as like legends, and Jeff Johns, I think, is one of them. And he's still a young guy, really young guy. He's got so much to go. DC should be banking everything on this guy. Imagine, I mean, he could be like the Stan Lee of DC Comics or modern era. Like he's the driving force that you need, that you want. I would put. Okay, Supergirl 35. Look at this. We got it. Edgy Leviathan on the cover. This is a cool cover here. Look at that. We got Supergirl saving the day with a little girl in her arms like that. It's a really cool imagery. Really heroic shot here. Got some zombie. Just really cool. For the ones I would actually prefer the deceased cover. It doesn't really scream deceased to me. It just screams it's hero saving the day. This does scream deceased and it looks edgy. Brightness. Here we get Superman 16. Look at this. Look at this. Girl. I can't show you the whole thing. Jonathan and Damian back together at last. Here's another case of Didio can't understand. He wants to kill Super Sons for Bendis. Get rid of them, destroy them. You wrecked the property, but now fans want the Super Sons. So it's like, look, here's the Super Sons. No, this isn't. This is the dead. This is the dead person that you stitched back together and you brought back to life using Frankenstein technology, and it's just it's a monster. No one wants this except for Bendis fans. It's for some reason seem to like whatever he does. Speaking of Bendis and liking whatever, look at this, Jimmy Olsen. Shit, look at Batman's. Look at these characters. Look at the pouty faces on Superman and Flash. Wonder Woman's disinterested on her smartphone. Are you fucking out of your mind? There's probably one person on Earth that doesn't have a smartphone. It'd probably be Wonder Woman. This is so stupid. This is silly Billy postmodern comics. Wonder Woman's probably on her Twitter feed telling, talking down to the patriarchy and empowering women everywhere. No, God, look at Batman. He's just like, get me the fuck out of here. Why am I on a Bendis book? Oh, I asked you, even read comics? It's not bitten. Yes, it's Matt Fraction, Bendis' little lackey. I understand that. This is all Portland Mafia. They're all tied. Bendis is the Don. They only have a job at DC because of Bendis. Speaking of comic legends, look at this. Superman holding up. It's actually more like Superboy. Holding up the Daily Planet Globe. Superman Year 1. I thought this was a very misunderstood comic book. I did a review on the first one. A lot of people didn't like it. There were things to definitely criticize. I'm not calling this a master book. But there is things in this book that should be praised. Frank Miller is an artist of words, I believe, and emotions. And I really enjoyed this book. And I can't wait for this one. $7.99 is a bit expensive, but it is 64 pages, prestige format, and it's oversized. It's magazine size. So you're getting a lot of quality publishing for your buck, right? $7.99 is some of the price of these other bullshit books that we saw. Oh man, I love Frank. I wish Frank Miller would have done a Wonder Woman book. I've never read Wonder Woman better, although Scott Snyder's doing a kick-ass job himself in Last Night on Earth. But anyway, so I'm going to sit here and drool over Frank Miller for days, and everyone's going to wonder why and roll their eyes back. Here we've got more Teen Titans. Does anyone care about Teen Titans anymore? I think some people do. I don't like what I've read of Adam Glass. The Terrifics 21 is the book I promise not to buy because it's the last remaining New Age of Heroes, and every New Age of Heroes I buy, they cancel. So I had a couple of viewers were like, don't buy this book, Ash. I was like, all right, cool. I'm not going to buy it, but I'm missing it. And I wish Bizarro was back with Red Hood. Can we get the Dark Trinity back? Can we have the Outlaws? I do like this. Maybe I'll have to catch up with the trade. People tell me if Terrifics is still good. Wildcats number 3, this is actually canceled. This is what's driving me nuts, and I think DC knows. They know that the artist Ramon Villalobos is something no one wants to see, okay? Which is why they keep advertising this look. This is more of the old school image style art that is synonymous with Jim Lee's books, right? This is what we want. We want this look. This is what it should have. But you flip open the book and you get Border Town, and they are doing everything they can to hide this fact, which tells me that they understand they're doing. And I've tweeted Jim, not that Jim Lee listens to me, but I've tweeted him a couple times being like, what the hell are you doing? This is your flagship book. Your fans want a Wildcats book, not a Border Town book. Why are do you not know who you're marketing to? Wonder Woman 80, G. Willow Wilson is continuing to, hey, look, is that a metaphor for the deconstruction of Wonder Woman? I don't know. Wonder Woman 81, I won't read anything G. Willow Wilson writes. So, yep, she can suck it. Wonder Woman annual. Hey, Steve Orlando is back to doing annuals. So here's a reason maybe you'd read an annual. I don't know. Steve Orlando's pretty good. Books of Magic 13. I haven't heard anyone say anything good about this. This is the book that's like subsidized. They like keep alive. I understand when you had Vertigo still and you wanted to keep pushing Vertigo. Now Vertigo's dead. Why are you having these 5,000 selling books that no one cares about? No one cares about any of these. And you're just pissing all over the good name, the reputation of Vertigo. It's like watching your heroes grow old and go senile and then have dementia, and you're just like, oh, this is not how I wanted to remember them. House of Whispers. No one talks about any of these books. Lucifer only gets talked about because it's a TV show. Collapser, Young Animal. Hey kids, we're going to get rid of our imprints because it's still confusing, but we're going to keep the ultimately most confusing imprint that we've ever made around, and we're going to have books still made. Why? I don't even know what Young Animal is, and no one has been able to tell me. Doom Patrol is Young Animal. Why? Dial H for Hero got extended to a 12-issue maxi series. Why is this? No one wants this book. It's terrible. Wonder Twins. Look at Mark. They are the Wonder Twins. Sam Humphries and Mark Russell are now the DC Wonder Twins. No one wanted a fucking Wonder Twins book. No one wanted a Dial H for Hero. Again, these are books for people in their 40s that still have the mind of a 10-year-old. And, they're like, oh, I remember Wonder Twins from when I watched Super Friends growing up as a little kid. We got to have the Super Friends. Yee. No. And Mark Russell, and even more so, Sam Humphries write like that. Dial H for Hero. Yay. Young Justice number 9 is Brian Michael Bendis is kind of doing the same thing, but like making it a little bit more edgy, making it more hipster. So he's not writing like that. He's writing the hipster version, and it's like, look at all of our characters. They talk like it's an episode of Friends, or what's that other one that I hate? About the two nerds. I always forget the name of that show. Try to forget it. Anyways, what are these? Who are these? Look at this. What? Is that Superboy? What? Oh, look. They probably went to an alternate Earth multiverse because Bendis has done that already in Superman. So he's going to do it again. Oh, what does it say? Oh, man. Lost in the multiverse with no way home. The teens of Young Justice find themselves trapped in a dark world that was once run by the evil Justice League known as the Crime Syndicate. We just saw the Crime Syndicate. Did they go back to being dead again? Bendis is like, oh yeah, now I know continuity. It's now run by their younger, more feral, more anarchic counterparts. The young. Look at that. They call themselves the young, and then the cuss word symbols. The young fucks? Is that what that is? The young dipshits. The young assholes, they are not nice. All this, and finally the truth behind Teen Lantern. Oh, finally the truth about the dumbest Teen Lantern ever, or the dumbest Green Lantern ever. So Dollar Comics from DC. Look at this. You can go back and get the Breaking of the Bat. That's a worthwhile one. Death of Superman gets a good one. Joker number 1. Swamp Thing number 1. You know what I like about these books is, unlike the True Believers, they actually are like a reprint of the book. So it's like Batman 497, not like, you know, True Believers supposed to be like True Believers Bane, and they like change the name. You know, you don't even know what issue it is. Look at this. You get Watchmen #1 for $1. This is how you do reprints, not the facsimiles. Batman Universe #4 continues Brian Michael Bendis' mediocre work in there. Up in the Sky. I did the first issue review of this. Was pretty cool. Are they going to do a race? How many times have they done this? These are all the books that no one cares about in the back here. Titans Burning Rage. These are all the $5 giant books that you can now buy the 16-page stories that were in them for also $5. so stupid. Just buy the $5 books. You're the Villain. So it continues. You're the Villain's going to go on forever until everyone's sick of it, even though I'm a big proponent of it. Cecil Castellucci's is terrible. Oh, you get a special acetate cover. I cannot wait for the acetate covers. What is the art here? Oh, is that the acetate? Okay. If they don't charge you extra for the covers, then I'm really cool. Batman Who Laughs is getting You're the Villain. Oh, I see. Batman and the Outsiders, they're calling it Ra's al Ghul and the Outsiders. Batman Who Laughs for Batman. Okay, so the villains are taking over the books. Well, okay. It's still the same book. You're not have to pay for an extra book. I'm okay with that. Man, there's a lot. How can anyone afford all this? Cool Hawkman cover. Damn, there's a lot here to cover, and like my video is going super long, so I'm just kind of trying to blast through this. I miss the old Red. Look at the old Red Hood costume. Look at the Trinity we all loved. DC knows it, which is why they keep throwing it in our face. I have to say, that really is annoying me, that DC keeps throwing in our face. Hey, these things that you like, we know that you like them. Look, we're going to throw you a bone. I don't want a bone. I want the meat that was on the bone that you took away. Like, you know we don't want this. You know we want this. This is why you show it to us. Why you charge us $1 more probably for this extra cover. Really, dog? Right now? Superman's enemy, Lois Lane. That's damn straight. Damn fucking straight. Finally, it's happening. We've been calling it since day one. Lois Lane is fucking enemy. Day one of Bendis' terrible run. Is this going to happen? Holy shit, is Didio going to break up Superman and Lois Lane and put Superman and Wonder Woman together? Oh my God. Oh, remember New 52, Superman and Wonder Woman were together, right? What is this? Teen Titans Crush. Bizarre on the Terribles, Cheetah. All right, so... Oh, Neil Gaiman Books of Magic. I have this. This is a great book. This is $20, 200 pages. The one I have is super well. The production values are fantastic. The artists you get, John Bolton, Scott Ham, Charles Vess. Oh, it's a beautiful book. Okay, Deceased hardcover. $30, 232. DC poster portfolio. You're the Villain. Oh, yeah. Maybe you get that cool art from the thing. DC's Year of the Villain Omnibus hardcover. 864 pages. They're already soliciting this. Wow. The event has barely even started. Wow. Holiday Nightmares. I don't like these special books. DC's Wanted World. This is boring. This previous has not been that interesting. It's just all... Sorry, I'm taking this. This is going on so long. Hellblazer by Garth in this omnibus. Okay, so this is just all reprinting good stuff. Justice League Odyssey. $16.99 is a fair price. You're getting 176 pages. If you're a person that reads by the trade and don't do the floppies. Scott Snyder's Justice League with Jorge Jimenez art. Oh man, I'm loving it. Oh, Man and Superman. Remember this book, Man and Superman, that everyone freaking praised, that $10 one-shot? You can get a deluxe edition hardcover for $10 extra. Jesus. Oh my God. That's 184 pages. That's a lot of extra. I think it's like twice as many pages. I don't know what the heck's in this. Wow, 20 extra bucks. You know what's going to be funny is the digital version is going to be $20 too. All right, so we get the burn back trade paperback of Nightwing. Everyone is looking forward to that trade. There's the crappy Bendis books. I don't know why anyone buys and trade. Yeah, so this is all the trade. Oh, look, you can get the Teen Titans. Here's gets the statues stuff. I know some people really like their statues. I think these are crazy ridiculous. Oh, look at this. Arkham Asylum inmate shirt. That's a cool. I like tie-ins like this. I don't really like necessarily like, oh, just a picture. I like things that are subtle. People that know comics or whatever can look at that and go, oh, I know what that is. That's cool. This is up my alley. I might have to check that out. And here is the DC Comics checklist. So everything that we covered. Sorry for the dogs in the background going out the doggy door. That's it. So this is way too long. I'm going to cut it short now. Thanks for watching. I'll try to keep them shorter in the future. It's difficult when I don't have a plan. Well, it's difficult for me in general. Thanks for watching, and bye.